Hey, what's up? This is Niels on Dynasty. Buy some silver, platinum, definitely platinum. Look into this crystallized osmium thing and use some creativity. See if you can't like quadruple your money in like a month. But anyhow, you got to be kind, helpful, and grateful. Thus, I tell you to buy silver, platinum, and crystallized osmium. I'm being kind and spreading my knowledge that those are the most valuable, one of the more valuable precious metals at a extremely undervalued price. That's my kindness. I'm grateful that you're watching this, the 50 or 40 or 30 of you that watch it. And see, kind, helpful. Yeah, I'm helping you out with your economic future by telling you that silver, platinum, and crystallized osmium are decent, very, very decent monetary plays. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is about everybody going nuclear. We're losing our minds. We're all going nuclear. Oh my God, we're going nuclear. We're all going to die. No, actually, we're going to have a 70 to 75% reduction of energy prices by 2030, like I've said on many of my other videos, because Neil knows. He watches things. He learns things. He watches documentaries. He follows up on things. And what he found was 1 year ago, Forbes, the audacious plan to use 10,000 nuclear micro-reactors to wean the world off coal. I'm going to start you guys here at about the 5-minute mark because I don't really care what else they got to say before then. There's just introduction bullcrap.
If they've made breakthroughs, it could take another 10 or 20 years to test out all the new parts and get to the point where it's economically viable, right? Your plan was to not have anything new, to use the oldest possible technology that's been proven. And so why should people care about Last Energy? Because you're putting it together in some new way?
It's a technology innovation from a systems integration perspective. We productize nuclear. The challenge with new physics innovations, it's not just the 10 years to get past the physics part and then another 10 years to get past the engineering part. The problem is if your materials, if your supply chain deviate from what's common and scaled across many other industries, you might never be economic.
Okay. So have you sold any of these yet?
So we probably had more commercial success than every other new nuclear startup combined just this last year.
Really?
We've ended up signing contracts throughout Eastern Europe and Poland, Romania, and now also in the UK as some of our early target markets. We have over 24 projects under development across Europe.
And you've accomplished this just as a startup. I mean, I was led to believe that
24. One startup nuclear power plant building company, a small one, has 24 contracts in Europe. This is a year old. It takes them a year to build, longest. That means right now there's 24 small cities or large towns or corporations that aren't paying a power bill because they paid to get a micro nuclear reactor. The guy just said they got 24. This is a year old, 1 year old. So a year ago, they had 24 contracts being developed, meaning they're building the projects. It takes 6 months to a year, they're done. That means if this is a year old, Europe has 24 micro nuclear reactors giving them electricity. Why haven't we heard about this? Interesting.
that new nuclear was going to be still years and years away, and that you would need only the biggest companies would be able to make it happen.
If you're trying to do too much,
Okay.
if you're trying to reinvent components or technology, almost all of the nuclear startups start with the perspective that there's something wrong with the reactor. Okay, well that takes thousands of people to solve the reactor problem. But if you just use the existing reactor technology, like you can see behind me here, then with just a 40-person company, you can make this type of commercial headway.
My understanding is that you don't have a PhD in nuclear science or anything. You're an entrepreneur. Your previous company involved using drones.
So this guy has no college background in nuclear physics, theoretical nuclear uses, or anything like that. He's just an entrepreneur, and he's got the fastest growing micro nuclear reactor company out there. Glad I didn't go to school. I want to be successful too.
To study rooftops for insurance companies. How in the world did you go from that to this?
Yeah, so I have an educational background in mechanical engineering and an entrepreneurial experience in a hard tech company in Frontier Tech and building drone technology. But after selling that company in 2017 and wanting to focus on global scale challenges such as energy and climate, I took my time studying the industry, meeting with hundreds of experts first in climate, and then when realizing that nuclear was just totally misunderstood, totally under-leveraged, ended up taking thousands more subject matter expert interviews just in the nuclear sector.
And so the right problem was shrinking the enormous nuclear power plants that we have around the world into a more manageable size?
That was our solution. The problem that we discovered was construction complexity.
Okay. Right.
So just the time it takes, the interest accrued on your financing charges over that construction period, this ended up, we realized historically, leading to most of the cost of nuclear energy. And so that became the problem to solve. Constructability, not reactor physics.
Okay, so problems have led people to think that nuclear is just not going to be affordable. What you found is that it can be very affordable if you shrink it all and use only these off-the-shelf parts.
Go small, go repeatable, and then build your way up to scale. Economies of many instead of the economies of size. That's our approach. I think people's perception of nuclear has definitely changed dramatically over the last few years, really understanding as we start to scale up these renewable systems, some of their shortcomings. The land consumption, material consumption, they themselves have a carbon footprint. And then when you layer all the environmental benefits of nuclear on top of the energy security benefits that we're seeing ever more present throughout Europe in today's day and age, nuclear is becoming the obvious choice. And I think both people and governments are coming around. I mean, we know they are because they came to us looking for solutions.
They came to you, in particular, these Eastern European countries, in part because after Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the shutoff of gas to Europe, they realized we need other solutions. We can't just dig more coal to make ends meet.
They always knew that there was an energy security threat. And we've been talking to many of these Eastern European countries, Romania and Poland, for many years. It was just with the war, it became real to everybody how serious a concern energy security was. So they were able to put their political support behind the projects that they always wanted to anyway, because energy security became a threat to the public that the public was aware of as well. And so yes, within a month of the war breaking out in Ukraine, we got a call from the Prime Minister of Romania himself, came out, and he cleared room for 2 of our projects at the Mio Veni Research Reactor Site.
Now, when we look at some of the biggest obstacles to nuclear, we've got regulatory.
All right. Energy security for individual countries. I've already done several videos about Africa. You have 6 nuclear power plants, big ones, being built. You've got the Gerd River Dam in Ethiopia, which is tons and tons of power to be exported. So anyhow, you have all these countries going for energy independence. Okay, hold on a second. Let's just do some basic supply and demand things here. Okay, say it takes them till 2030 to build these reactors and these dams and everything and become energy independent from the rest of the world. Every country is energy independent. That means every country's producing energy. That brings down energy prices because it's based off supply and demand. Right now, most every country is energy dependent. So prices are high because of greed. Once they become energy independent, the price of energy falls through the floor. Welcome to the theory of supply and demand and prices. That's why a validation for why I say by 2030, we're going to have 70 to 75% reduced energy prices. Gas will be 75% cheaper. Electric bills, 75%. Everything, power, all power things will be 75% cheaper. Because for one, here in America, we have the largest oil supply underground on the planet. And on top of that, we have the largest shale oil deposits underground on the planet. And when you do shale oil mining, which is the next oil mining America will be doing, the byproduct is natural gas. So now you have an abundance of a natural resource, natural gas, that you can ship out and sell to the world, those ones that still are not energy independent. After you load up your own coffers and take care of your own people, you sell the excess. So if you have excess to sell, then you just keep dropping the price until your people start consuming that amount to where you don't have any export. It's all being consumed. And that's where you come up with supply and demand price curve. It's a basic economic principle in theory. It works basically across the board on most economic principles other than dictatorships and communists and socialist government. But if you have a democracy, that's how it works. Anyhow, back to the story. It's not going to be much longer. I'm going to cut it short. Actually, I probably
Regulatory
should already
issues,
end it.
financing issues. How are you going to pay for things? What's this going to cost anyway?
Yeah, so each one of these units costs us under $100 million to build, and it produces billions of dollars worth of electricity over its lifetime. The way that we have architected our business model is using what's common in the renewables industry known as a power purchase agreement. So what we do is we get our customer, usually a factory of some sort, whether it be aluminum or glass or cement, we get them to sign us up as their utility. They write us a
Oh, there we go. 24 contracts in Eastern Europe. He just said private companies will be the first ones to get it. I'm thinking the war machines are getting these in Europe and Romania and Poland. They're probably using this to power up their factories, which he just said factories will buy them, so that they can guarantee themselves a war machine that's consecutively running. Holy cow. Interesting. There's 24 of them already built in Eastern Europe. It's amazing what these stories give you if you know stuff.
contract saying, here's the price of power over this period of time. We then take that contract to the financial markets, to private equity infrastructure funds. They fund the capex of the facility, and then we both benefit from the electricity sales and the profits of it over time.
You said that that's the
Basically, that's the supply-demand curve for economics, folks. He just gave it to you, 101 class. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream here. I don't like him being too long. I just wanted to bring you this information. It's a year old from Forbes. Have a good day. Buy some silver and platinum crystallized osmium.